Let's talk about Leeds against Aston Villa, shall we? Leeds can move above Villa in the table. Oh, yeah, Merson, I don't know. What's happened to Ellen Road? You know, I know it's been an issue for a while. I saw the game against Southampton. Look, I mean, they're going to curtail dancing on ice. Well, people who are addicts should just watch the football at Ellen Road instead. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I felt uncomfortable, if I'm being honest, Jeff. You know, they play at such a tempo. They are 100 mile an hour. They want to play at pace. They want to move the ball quickly. People were just falling over. There was people nowhere near people and they were slipping over.
Nathan Teller couldn't stand up.
And rightly so. I mean, you know, especially this day and age with their studs, a lot of them are wearing little blades and all that. It's not like the big, massive aluminium studs. So I think Bamford said that he changed his in the end to big studs.
He did, said at half-time he changed into rugby studs.
Yeah, rugby studs, which we used to wear, really. You know, the big aluminium ones. But for me, I thought it was uncomfortable. And that could affect him, you know. That could affect them.
It's a new pitch as well, Merce.
Yeah, I know. It's a new pitch and they'll probably have to go again now.
I think as opposed to a new pitch, it's a sort of refurbished pitch. They spent a lot of money on it, but they haven't relaid the pitch as such. Wow. So,
that's the same as my hair, Jeff.
Look, Alan McInally, you're going to go off in a moment and do the early game. I know that. But I love the fact that Bielsa this week said, look, it's not me who turned Leeds into a Premier League team. It's Leeds who made me a Premier League manager. But the big question is, you know, and I know you are Mystic McInally, will he be there next season?
No. There's one of Mercy's answers. Oh, listen, I mean, it's very kind of him and very pragmatic, not pragmatic, but very kind of him to say that, you know, Leeds gave him the opportunity, Jeff, then, obviously, to bring him to the football club. But then again, you know, he's the one that's made all the decisions. He's brought new players in. He's got them into a position where they're now a Premier Division football club. And incidentally, if you take it back from the very first game against Liverpool, where they played ever so well, they have become one of the teams in the Premier Division that I think a lot of, certainly in terms of myself as ex-players, you like to watch them. You know, I'd like to play in the team because, you know, as a striker and somebody that plays up the top, then I know I'm not going to be waiting 10 minutes for the ball to get to me. He wants the ball forward and he wants you working really hard, which, as a football player, that's all you want. But yeah, I think he's been very kind, obviously. He's saying the right things. Will he be there next year? Merce, will he be there next year?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Really?
Oh, he gets paid wealthy. He gets paid good money. He gets paid good money. He's watching a good football team. He's got very enthusiastic young lads there who want to sit and listen and work his way, which is priceless. I think you can go in somewhere else with the manager and it won't work. It won't work the way he plays. You've got to have the players. We've seen it with Sam Allardyce at West Brom. This ticks the box. I think he just keeps on bringing in a couple of players like Rafinha. Wow, where to get him from? Right. I think if he can do that, Al, I think he'll stay. I think there's a great project going on, or whatever you want to call it. There, yeah. I think it happens.
Yeah, I tell you what would be really interesting, Merson. And by the way, incidentally, I'm saying it depends who wants to take him. And I know he's obviously. He's almost one of like the most beloved managers by all the managers, all the top managers in the world, because he's meant to be this kind of guru guy. Be interesting, Merce, to see A, how much money he gets to spend, and B, who he brings in next year to think that he can put Leeds United in an even stronger position next year. That'll be one that I'm really looking forward to. Him in the transfer market after a season that they've obviously had, that they've had at the moment anyway.
It's Glenn. It's not just though the players that he's brought in, is it? It's what he does with players who. I don't like to use the phrase journeyman, but they've been playing in the Football League for a lot of their careers. You know, the Stuart Dallases and the Luke Aylings and the Liam Coopers, who all now look proper Premier League players.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's where, you know, when you see how good certain managers are. You know, if you roll back the clock a while when Brendan was doing that sort of thing with Swansea, you know, there'd be teams, no disrespect to them on the team sheet, that you're not afraid of or you don't fear them in any way, but they just way outperform anything they've done in the past. So for me, that's a sign of a good manager. But like the guys are saying, if you can bring better quality in the window and still have the same effect, that's when you can kick on.
But I mean, I'll add to that list, Clinton, obviously. Patrick Bamford. You know, who's just had an astonishing season. In actual fact, in that game against Southampton, he was effective at both ends.
He's been so important, Jeff. I said it many a times. Did I think he had scored the goals in the Premier League? No, because he needed so many chances in the Championship and missed so many. But this season, he's been outstanding. And if he gets that England call-out, which I think he fully deserves, then good luck to him, because he fully deserves it.
Yeah. As far as Villa are concerned, they're 8th You know, it didn't look the same side without Grealish against Leicester. It's not a surprise, really, is it? Do you think, though, Merce, bearing in mind, you know, Grealish is injured, Cash is injured, Wesley's not back, Hourihane's gone to Swansea, is that squad just looking a bit stretched now?
Very much so, and it plays every week. A lot of the players, I think, you know, we could all sit here and pick an Aston Villa team and we'll probably be one out maybe. Like Alan just was 5 out on a Man City team. You'd never get that with Aston Villa. And I think watching last week, it was quite worrying for me with no Jack Grealish. I looked at that and I thought, if he went next season, at the end of the season, they would be fighting relegation next season. They would, in my opinion. They look completely lost. They look like, oh, where's Jack? We need Jack. Because Jack starts everything. You know, he gets it all going, everything going. And for me, I worry for Aston Villa without Jack Grealish in the team.
One player who came in for a bit of criticism, Chris Boyd, last week was Ross Barkley. Dean Smith said, look, he's putting the hard yards in. His form isn't quite what it was before his injury. But bear in mind, he had 8 weeks out and then was pushed straight back into games. I mean, do you have some sympathy with him?
Yeah, 100%. And the guys are right there what they're saying with Jack Grealish. When you look, there's so much pressure on Ross Barkley then to go and deliver. And you know, if you've been out injured, you're coming back, then it can take time. But you know, I think that when the focus of the football club is on Jack Grealish and everything that goes through him, then when he's not there, they start to look at other, you know, and if you have a bad game or a bad 15, 20 minutes, then that gets highlighted even more because it's not a case of, right, get Jack, where's the ball, he'll make something happen. And a lot of it went through, you know, Ross Barkley last week, but, you know, it just wasn't to be. It's one of those, we all have them. You know, it wasn't his best day, but I don't think Ross Barkley's one for shying away from it. He's shown he'll bounce back from disappointment. And the one thing about him, you know, for the talented footballer he is, I mean, Ross Barkley's another one who, if you go back to Leeds, they all work. They work for the team. And I think that when you've been out for that period of time to perform at the level in the Premier League, it can be difficult. So, you know, when he's now back in the team and he'll be looking to put on a big performance, but when you've been out for a long time, it's difficult just to come straight back in and hit the form you were shown beforehand.
I find, Jeff, I watched him a lot at Chelsea and I felt he played safe at Chelsea. And I think he's got into a situation where the older he's getting, the more he's thinking about his game. When he should try and get back to his Everton days. You know, when he was off the cuff, you know, he took players on. And I think that's what he's got to do. I think he's an unbelievable talent. I mean, I was at Stamford Bridge when Barcelona come, and if you'd have watched Messi, you'd have gone, oh. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has bad games, and we're talking the best player in the world. So he needs to get back. This is a hard league. You know, you have 8 weeks out. It's a long time. So
Do they buy him given the chance? He's only on loan at the moment.
All day long.
Yeah.
All day long, in my opinion.
Okay.